What a nightmare. These boys are West Ham did beat West Brom 3-1. And to be honest, Dan isn't here tonight. He is busy. But I thought this was way too good an opportunity not to do a live match reaction with you all. I'm interested to hear your thoughts and opinions on that game. I know it's relatively polarised, I think, between some of the fans regarding the performance. The most important thing for me at the end of the day is the result. I said that coming into the game, and it was always going to be a game where we just needed any type of goal to win it. And when Declan Rice misses the pen really early doors as well, it starts to frighten you because you start to think, hang on a minute, this isn't going to be West Ham's day. And it's an awful penalty. It's a crazy situation in terms of how it even happens with Ajayi playing the back pass and Mickey latching onto it. And by that stage, when Dec missed it, I thought, it's not going to happen for us. It really isn't. And it's going to be tough. And you look at all the fixtures that we've had recently and the way that we've played. And to be honest, we saw a little bit of that tonight anyway. I thought we're not going to break down Big Sam, who, to be honest, I think they look quite relaxed. They played really well. I thought they caused us a few issues defensively. And it told in the end, just in terms of West Ham's quality and the character, but it was a really tough game, generally speaking. Could Leicester still make top four? I think they will, Samuel. But when obviously they score the goal, West Brom, don't they? And it's horrific. It's everything that you don't want to see from a game that you need to win. Now, having watched that back and having watched the game in general with the highlights, particularly on Randolph and the way that West Brom targeted him, I'm actually convinced that the Big Sam would have targeted our goalkeepers anyway, but putting Matt Phillips on Randolph gave him too many decisions to make, forced him into his own net, and I think that's where the goal came from. I think personally it was quite generous to give Pereira that goal from the corner. I think at the end of the day, you've got to look at it as a bit of obstruction and to come off Thomas Souček's head, and it's really just affected the positioning. And to be honest, up until then, I thought West Ham, listen, we were sloppy in possession at times. It is really frustrating for me. And we are trying to develop that part of our game in terms of being better on the ball. I thought we tried to move it a little bit more intensely. I thought, generally speaking, the movement wasn't too bad from the attacking midfielders. And the game was a lot more open than I anticipated. But deliveries into the box weren't good enough. They were behind Antonio. Antonio was coming deep. Antonio was coming to the left. That's fine. But you do need more movement in behind, and you do need the quality of cross. And at times I would have liked to have seen a Creswell pushing up a little bit higher, a Soufal pushing up right, using the width a little bit, whipping a ball in the box, and Antonio getting onto it. And that's where you want Mickey in between the two centre-backs trying to affect things. And when West Brom get that goal, my immediate thought is, listen, you give Big Sam that one goal lead, he will see it out. And I thought the way that West Brom played, particularly against West Ham, where we've been sloppy in possession, they've taken advantage of the mistakes. I thought Pereira was their best player. I think that it's no surprise that, of course, he was going to be. His talent's unbelievable. We were very scared to get close to him. And he recovered the ball in his own half and he carried it, and West Ham backed off. And defensively from those breakdown in set pieces, whether it was second balls or whether it was just launching a ball or fizzing one into the area, there was a worry for me. And I think in this game, I thought Craig Dawson stepped up. I know there was that slight moment in that second half where he slipped and they could have played in behind. And again, if West Brom had taken their right chances and Hal Robson-Kano's in on goal, maybe they score it. But I thought Dawson, generally speaking, was really good tonight in terms of winning that first ball, stopping West Brom getting into our box and clearing it and setting off West Ham. But it was just those transitions again, a little bit sloppy for me. And I guess we can't talk about transitions and attacking play if we don't talk about Benrahma, who I thought flattered to deceive, if I'm honest, for part of the game. He lost the ball a fair amount of times. He wasn't really affecting things. He's not getting into the final third. The biggest problem for me, and I don't know whether people agree with this or not, and whether you watch this on replay or live, let me know, but I feel Benrahma was actually better on the right-hand side than he was on the left. And I wonder whether that is because of this decision-making. He knows there's only one place he can go. That's be direct. That's get down the byline and whip a ball in. And I thought some of the crosses that he was putting in to West Brom's box, particularly for the assist and particularly in the second half, were really threatening. And to be honest, he looked like our liveliest player going. Who do you think West Ham's three best players were in this game? I thought Declan had a good game. If you take out the penalty, I thought his ball recoveries were relatively decent. I thought Benrahma in that second half, and when he flicked to the right-hand side, was probably, I would argue, one of our best players. And then after that, it's pretty tough. I think you possibly have to give it to Souček. Maybe I'm a bit optimistic just because we've won the game and Souček got the goal. I thought Souček lost the ball a fair few times. And again, there's a few players out there tonight that were losing the ball in possession, and it was sloppy and it was horrible to watch. And it's not what you want in a tight and tense game. But I've got to talk about Pablo Fornals before I get into the likes of Lingard and Mikel Antonio. Listen, I've been a massive skeptic of Pablo Fornals because I just thought, as good as I think he can be in a 10 role, as good as I think he can affect things, I just never thought that guy was ever going to transition to the Premier League and develop work rate in his game and crispness of passing and movement. He's developing so much more in this role, in this side. He's basically undroppable. And I've been the guy that said I would take him out. But to be honest, I think you play him in every game that you can just because of the way that he affects things, what he does off the ball, the pressing for the third goal. He basically makes that third goal. Let's be clear here. People will look at Mickey's finish, which was a great finish, and he could have snatched it. People will also look at Fornals snatching at the chance that he had. But the reality is everything in Pablo Fornals' game is very good other than finishing. And if he can develop finishing, and listen, he's put one and he's tried to bend it in the corner. And if he does that, then maybe he can develop that in his game as well, and he becomes a really well-rounded player. Will West Ham make Europa? I'd hazard a guess and go yes. And I know me, Dennis and Charles, particularly the other lads, are cautious because we are West Ham, and that is what we're like. We're not convinced that it's ever done until it's actually done. But I think tonight, and what I will say is the character in those last 10 minutes, man. That's what I want to see from this West Ham side. I thought, if you talk about open play, and I'll watch it back, and I'm sure I'll do a breakdown on it, we were moving the ball okay. Again, tepid, and we ran out of ideas the minute we got to that second half. And we were trying to find Antonio, and we were trying to run the channels. And Lingard and Antonio looked absolutely gassed for me. And at that stage, I'm thinking, well, listen, West Ham aren't getting a goal from open play. We're not good enough to create the type of chances. And listen, every time West Ham got forward, we threw men into the box. This isn't like, we were tepid. There was only 3 men on the counter. Like at one time, I've seen it's come on the left-hand side. You've got Soufal far right. You've got Bowen. You've got Antonio. You've got players in the box, but the deliveries and the choices weren't right. And I just thought, I don't think so. Not in this game. But I will say that coming for that hour, coming for the man, Big Angelo Ogbonna. What a guy to go and get that goal. It couldn't happen to someone that you'd want more to get that goal than Angelo. And it's poor defending, but I really don't care. I really don't care because I think Angelo Ogbonna is a top player. I think he struggled a little bit tonight. I think he wasn't too bad in terms of tracking runs, but I think that West Brom attacking play that they show, the dynamism, gave us a little bit of a run around. And I think part of that has to come down to how expansive we had to be. I thought Declan was probably the most adventurous he's been in a defensive midfield role that we've seen for a long, long time. And I think that's no surprise that West Brom were able to counter. But at this stage of the season, in the type of games that we're in, can we really afford to sit behind the ball and play how we did in the first half? I'm sure if this was the first half of the season, Moyes would be patient. And if it was a draw, it's a draw and we move on. But we absolutely couldn't afford it in this game. And I just felt that we were getting too easily beaten. We were very, very expansive. But I thought Angelo, like I say, popped up when he needed to. Captain for me, captain material up there with Declan Rice in there. And it's a brilliant header and he's nudged it in. The third goal, and I kind of alluded to this just a minute ago. Pablo Fornals, man. Pablo Fornals, the pressing. Every time I watch that geezer play, every single time, he does things that I think, listen, where have you got that from? Where have you developed that from? You shouldn't be. You're a Spanish. You're a number 10. Can you fit to the Premier League? Can you do enough to affect things? In the 87th minute, we scored that goal against West Brom, and to get that goal, it took the pressure off us massively. Because once you got that third, listen, West Brom is as much as they threatened, as much as they caused West Ham issues, they weren't getting back into the game. And Lingard, who ironically on stream we were saying to take off because we felt that I felt Benrahma was offering a little bit more than Jesse was. Still carried the ball well, still made the right decision. And a lot of that had to come with the run of Mickey, because I think Mickey Antonio, his movement in the box, and I know his finishing's wayward, I get it. Sometimes his decisions are rash, but I honestly believe the movement of Mikel Antonio in the box is relatively decent for a player that has just transitioned from a right winger into a centre forward as late as his career as it has happened. And a couple of times early doors, I think Benrahma's got it on the right-hand side. He's fizzed it across. It's a gorgeous ball, and it's right across the floor, and it puts Ajay in a really dodgy situation where he's either got to knock it to his keeper, which he didn't do when we scored, ironically, with Souček, or he lets it run across him. And Mikel Antonio's come sort of a little bit closer to draw him in, and then he's gone out in the hope. It didn't happen in that instance. But I thought Mikel Antonio's run, giving Jesse an option for that third goal, is what made it. And he kept on side. It could have been really easy for Mikel Antonio. 3 minutes of the game left to go, run it in the corner or fatigue play a part, not only physical but mental, and not make that run. But the fact that he held his run, and the finish. Again, the finish was superb. Didn't even look up. Geezer knew where it was. Put it across Sam Johnstone. Put it in the back of the net and finish this game and wrap an important 3 points for West Ham. Benrahma, Algerian skills. Yeah, and listen, like I said earlier in this stream, Benrahma is a frustrating player because you know the technical quality that he has, but the switch to the right-hand side absolutely worked for him. He's more direct. His assists, the assist for the Souček goal is very good in my opinion. People may say, well, he's only put it across the box. He's put it on a plate. Just that area, man. Like anyone that knows their football, right? You put it in that area where you're giving the defender for West Brom Ajayi a problem where he can't touch it because if he touches it, he's either putting it out for a corner or he's scoring an own goal. And that's the quality that side's offering. And I actually thought, the game didn't go full side Benrahma necessarily. And I don't want to make this about Benrahma because I think character really told in this game in the end. But I thought Benrahma, even when it wasn't going perfect for him, even when he's not getting on the ball, even when it goes wrong, I just thought he wanted it. He knew it was important. And I actually thought he was unlucky to get taken off around the 70th minute. I even called for Lingard to be taken off. Now, obviously I got proven wrong because Lings gets his assist, but I personally would have left Benrahma on when he's performing. And it's going to be tough for Benrahma. Do you know what I mean? It is going to be tough because I'm getting text about Benrahma. Yeah, my mate Dan obviously said he done well tonight, and he really, really did, and that just fits in with the narrative of what I'm saying to you. And for me, it's tough. He's trying to get his trust. He gets a goal against Brighton, he starts the game, and then he gets taken off. It is tough, and any Algerian fans that are watching this, and I know you're massive supporters of Benrahma, I sympathise at the point where it's tough for him to play regularly. And a lot of that's been justified for me. I think sometimes he's dipped, sometimes he's really performed, but it's always been inconsistent. But I just thought a mentality switch tonight for me. Positional switch and a mentality switch. And that for me was great to see. And I think we've got a player there and a bit of patience with all of these players. Bowen, who's performed probably better of all of them this season. Pablo Fornals and Benrahma. And next season, you've got attacking midfielders that can almost play inverted wingers, different positions. And we take it to another level. Let's go, boys. Huge game. Yeah, seriously thought playing for the draw after Benrahma was withdrawn. Yeah, I did think, Anil, to be honest, let me know. I thought it was an interesting decision to bring Jarrod Bowen on, particularly for Benny. I would have taken Lingard off because I thought Bowen was going to offer a little bit more transitioning, going forward, affecting things. And he didn't really do a lot, Bowen. Like, if I'm perfectly honest, there was a few decent runs in there and he obviously tracked back and did his thing and maybe a little bit of composure. But going forward, he didn't do what you really want him to do. I wonder whether sort of I wouldn't say we sat back, but I think once we got that second, the game opened up for us. And listen, West Brom aren't fighting for anything. West Ham are. And when the spaces appear, West Ham are lethal. And I'm probably reiterating, I'm probably speaking with excitement, but those two goals tonight were what West Ham are about. Forget the first one, because obviously I'm happy Souček to get his goal. Now he's the highest ever scoring Czech international in the Premier League, which is a huge accolade, and he deserves it. And for me, he's up there for Hammer of the Year. I think there's so many Hammers of the Year at the minute. I mean, how'd you pick one out of this lot? Because they've been absolutely superb. Sam has left West Bromwich Albion. Has he actually left them? Did someone lose half his team and then try and get back up? Fair enough. What is your opinion on the Czech lads, Soufal and Souček? Unbelievable. I thought Soufal struggled tonight, if I'm honest, Martin. I think Pereira gave him a couple of issues. I think Souček was slightly poor in possession, but I think what everyone will see from the pivot of Declan Rice and Souček is Declan giving license for Souček to get in the box. And in those games where they're tight and we're not the best at opening up sides, you just want Souček in the box, and it's all up to the quality of the deliveries. And Benrahma showed it, and Souček took the gamble. And he's unique in the fact that we thought we were getting a box-to-box midfielder, and he is, but he does get forward a hell of a lot, and he makes the right runs, and that's why he scores so many goals. If I ever bump into Moyes, I'm going to blatantly ask him what his beef with Benrahma is. I understand the justified subs, but dear me. Yeah, I think it's time, Chris. I think it's time. I think you've just got to give Moyes time with these players. And to be honest, if you're talking to me about David Moyes a year ago, I'm saying he's a disgrace. He shouldn't do this, and people would may feel justified in that. But Moyes has shown enough for me to trust him. Now, I'm not sure what I think he's just looking for consistency with Benny. Now, I think Lingard gets a free pass, possibly because of the goal contributions. I thought he was poor tonight, other than the assist, to be honest, coming deep, not really affecting things enough, not carrying the ball, looked fatigued. And Dennis made a really interesting point on the watch along how he didn't really feature probably last 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and it would have made more sense to have brought on Jarrod Bowen. And I wonder whether West Ham next season, with more options, fingers crossed, we make those changes quicker. And if you bring Lingard in, you bring someone else. I know Joe makes a point of Pereira is a very good player and someone that I definitely, if we couldn't get Jesse Lingard in, would 100% bring. I thought what you saw tonight in a poorly performing West Brom side that doesn't really play to his strengths, if I'm honest, gives him a free role a little bit, but doesn't necessarily give the ball to him directly. He's allowed to pick up those positions and do the rest. You take him at West Ham. And if he's available for 17 mil, that'd be brilliant. Mike says, thanks for that. As a Czech citizen, this is incredible to hear. Unbelievable. Yeah, we've got a massive rapport, haven't we, with Czech clubs, haven't we? And obviously the links we've got with Slavia Prague, and I'm sure we'll go and dip back into that market again. The Irons in Europa. Souček is my hammer of the year. It's tough, isn't it, Anil, though? The more I watch Fornals, I don't know if he's hammer of the year, but he's done very, very well, and you've got to obviously give him credit for that. Soufal definitely up there for me. You know, everyone talks about right back, and we never really speak about it anymore, do we? Let's be honest, we never go, oh God, we've got Fredericks and Creswell at our fullbacks. And listen, if anyone remembers, and I know it seems like a real long time ago that West Ham struggled to stop deliveries into the box, the right back position was a real issue. And when Soufal come in, we don't speak about it. He can have an off day, but he very, very rarely does. So I think he's up there for me, and I think I possibly might plot for him, but I think Souček for the goals, obviously, and he's a top lad. Can't believe the season we've had, to be honest, after struggling. And it's amazing, Steve, to be fair, like we were talking about on the watch along earlier, and just the fact that we've become where we've come from and how wrong Moyes and the team have proven me. And I'm done questioning them. You know, even as a massive football fan, and I love the tactical side of it, and obviously I love West Ham and I rewatch the games. I'm done questioning the guy. I'm done questioning Moyes, because he's not perfect, and there will come a time where we can question him. But for me, you really show your soul. And I think, you know, I think we were justified to write him off because of the experiences that he had at Sociedad and Sunderland. But what I will say is a man that's managed 1,000 Premier League games knows what he's doing, and did do it at Everton. And I think he can do it at West Ham. Guys, does anyone know about the Europa Conference leagues? We don't talk about that because hopefully you won't be in it. Souček is playing further forward. And bang on, Joan. That's exactly what it is. Getting him further forward. You know, Souček had to sit a lot deeper. I think when we had Manu, we tried playing it, but there was a worry because as good as Manu was on the ball, he doesn't really make recovery tackles, and we were out of shape. I think that's where Everton got a bit of joy against us. Nobes, again, you love him. He's a club legend, but again, there's no mobility there. There's a problem. You've got to sit. So having Declan Rice and Souček, and I also think as well, John, on that point, getting someone in the summer that can be put into the fold a little bit as a rotation option will allow us to keep playing Souček further forward, whether it's a Sander Berg. I know he's not a natural DM. He's more of a box-to-box. And Anguissa, again, another number 8, but a player that's combative, that can sit deep and just allow him to get forward if Declan Rice is injured or does need a rest, because we have got European football, hopefully. That would be something that we can call upon. 3 or 4 signings, 3 or 5 signings of the quality of the Czech boys in the Girona will much have it. And again, now for me, you know, I know Europe's a huge thing, and listen, this is the best season I've seen in my lifetime as a West Ham fan. It's almost emotional to see how far we've come, and just to get back in that ground supporting those boys next season is going to be absolutely unbelievable. But I think it gives us a really good opportunity to consolidate on the progress that we've made and go and get 3, 4, 5, 6. I think you could argue you need 7, 8 signings with some people going out as well. So I think it's a massive summer in terms of recruitment. And you'd hope that, fingers crossed, the board do finally pull their finger out and really support David Moyes. Benrahma will make us remember Paolo Di Canio. I won't go that far, mate. Hopefully one day. I think we can need a draw to finish above the Spuds. Yeah, I think we need Tottenham to lose, and we've only got a draw against Southampton, and that will 1 billion% confirm Europa League football. I don't really care about Tottenham. You know, I don't like them. I've never liked them. I hate them. Get on my nerves. But I think it would be remiss of me to start talking about Spurs. But it would be nice, just obviously from bragging rights and how much they talk about how they don't like us and they don't think about us, and yet it will wind them up. And Harry Kane's on the off, so that'll be an interesting one. One club on the up, one club on the down. But yeah, no, I mean, it was a top performance. It was a top result tonight. It wasn't a top performance. I'll watch it back, take little tactical things from it. I think the Benrahma thing is massively interesting. I think Fornals' overall performance is a really important point to make. But like, I've got to be honest, you get to this neck of the woods in this end of the season and you just think, let's just get the win. 10,000 West Ham fans in there on Sunday. Go out there, get behind the boys, get behind them, whatever it is, and we can draw that goal into the back of the net and get a result. I'm telling you, West Ham fans, when you're in there and we're full of noise and we're behind the team, one of the best fans in the country for me. Or a bit biased, but Leicester could still lose top four. And I think that's also an important thing to remember. I think the way that it's worked out in terms of Liverpool's pressure that they are putting on Leicester in order to try and get that top four space, and Aston Villa going and beating Spurs, the cards have stacked up at the right time. I hope we've kind of got past this dip in form at the right time. And I was a bit worried that this form would continue. We were trying. We were running out of ideas. We were fatigued. But I just thought, I don't know if the lads have got that extra push to go and get something. And I think we have, to be honest. I think what I saw in those last 10 minutes was great to see. When we built this, the way that we started this team in the beginning of the season was built on transitions, sitting deep, set piece. That's why West Ham were even in the top half conversation, top 8. That's the whole reason we were there. And for that to come out at the right time in the last 10 minutes and fall back on your bread and butter was really nice to see as well. I know it's not the most attractive thing in the world. I know people will moan and say you just chuck the ball into the box and it's all counter-attacks for you, but I do not care. Really do not care at this stage of the season. Would I take Lingard, 40 mil and Lingard for Rice? No, not for me. I think Declan Rice is irreplaceable. I've said that before, and I think he's improving again tonight. I thought it was a tough game for him to operate in because I think what I love about Declan Rice is the mentality. He's younger than me, which is mad, and I'm not that I'm jealous or anything that he's captain in West Ham and I'm sitting here in front of a camera, but just the way he's driving in midfield and carrying the ball and taking responsibility. It is a risk. Of course it's a risk. We don't play high lines. We don't. That doesn't happen. And yet he's taken the mantle. He's going again. And I think we missed him. I think if we'd had Declan Rice, by the way, in the last 3 to 4 games, if we'd had him for Chelsea, I think we might have been sitting here a little bit more comfortable. But it would only be the West Ham way for it to be slightly frustrating. I'd love to see you do a show about transfers, who we will get. Yeah, me and Dan will do that. I want to try and do a fan's voice and some transfer shows as well. We've got a Euro prediction league that me and Dan have got a meeting about on Friday. So we'll do that and we'll get all you involved and hopefully they'll talk some prizes out. We've got to talk it through, but I'm going to be bored, man. I'm going to be bored. I've got to talk about something. So, but definitely transfers, I think moments of the season. I'm going to try and do a montage of watch-alongs, things like that. We've had such an amazing season and it's been awful not to be in there. But just to kind of cap it off and sum it up and get back in the next season, get the cameras out, not all the time because I'm not too keen on vlogs, but I would like to do something interactive at the stadium and try and not fan cams because it's not for me, but just something there, even if it is a match day vlog. Rice is staying, we've got European football. And that, Anil, is a huge point, isn't it? Yeah, I bet you, I bet you'd like Rice. I think European football confirms Rice for another season. And I don't think you can actually underestimate the power that having the Euro, if we get the Europa League football, which again is a bit of an if still, and I don't really want to sit here and go mental on it and then not get it. And I do like to dream, but I think Declan Rice having European football of some kind of capacity is massive for him. It's massive in keeping him in this club. But I do think the board owe it to David Moyes, to Declan Rice, to all of these players as well, to go and back him, to show some ambition, to build a core of a squad. Because I think West Ham are now in a point where we've got an upward trajectory. We had one to a degree at the bowling, but I suppose you could put that down to leaving the ground and the memories and doing it for the West Ham fans and things like that. But I think we're at a stage where if we go and invest right and we build on the squad, Rice and Souček and Soufal maybe less so, but definitely Rice and Souček, Lingard, look around and go, I want to stay at West Ham. And that's what I think Moyes wants to create. And we're never going to be, we're not going to be up with the top fours of course we're not. But if we can have a little bit of success, relatively speaking, ambition, pushing forward, growing as a team and as a club, then I think that's all you can really ask for. Made me chuckle, Harry asking me if I wanted to scrap weight. Yeah, that was funny, Chris. That actually did have me in bits, to be honest. I was impressed with Rice's fitness. I thought he'd suffer. And again, he's incredibly young and he's fit and he plays that role so well. And he's even developed into a bit of a box-to-box, to be honest. Especially tonight, I think we saw a little bit more of that. So fair play to him. He's definitely deserved it. And having him back as well for that last game and the last 3, I think is really important. And even when he's off, even when he has an off day, he's still so crucial. Much appreciated to Mr. David Moyes for his great work. Yeah, if you're a Benrahma fan, I'm sure you won't be saying that because he got hauled off. But it's listen, there's a lot to look forward to. There's a lot to look forward to. I thought we were fantastic tonight. You sound Australian, probably because my voice has gone, mate, and I'm tired. But I did want to do this because, listen, man, it's been an unbelievable season. We've got one more game for West Ham to pull off. And listen, record Premier League wins, isn't it? 18 wins, never been done. Never been done since. I don't think it's been done in '86. So the fact we're doing it now is mad. It's mad to me, and I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen a squad so together. I've never seen a squad working so hard. I've never trusted a manager the way that I trust David Moyes. You know, it's brilliant. Like, it's absolutely phenomenal just to have a little bit of that and to follow a club. And you feel that it can go the right way. And we've got all the problems with the board and everything, and it's almost like in spite of everything that could go wrong, basically trying to make it as difficult for David Moyes to operate as possible, we're still doing it. And that's the difference for me. That's been the difference for me this season. That's all we can ask for as West Ham fans. I'm not sitting there going, we've got to win trophies. I'd love to play European football, but hard work and character. And I think you can accuse this team of not necessarily having the quality at times, not necessarily having the decision making, but the character is the big thing. And it's always been the big thing for me as a West Ham fan. I think 100 plus, yeah, I agree, Chris. I think I would go 100. I mean, he's a premium asset, isn't he, Declan Rice? So if you're going to sell him, you sell him for 80 plus. And you try and rinse them dry. Hopefully there's no need for us to sell. I'm not sure if our board, maybe it does happen and they do try and flog him, but you get the most you can out of these players. So we scored 4 goals today. Souček scored 2. Yeah, I wish, man. I wish. That would be nice. I think it'd be great for my fantasy, although I think I'm taking him out. I might wrap it up there, to be fair. Anything else you lot want to ask me, trying to revel in this lovely moment and result? I think I've covered everything. I've covered the West Ham goals. We've covered the West Brom goals. I said it was poor. I'm probably a bit harsh. Am I harsh on Randolph? I felt he could have done better. I thought that there was a foul on him. I thought they tried to impede him a bit. And I don't think we're going to get the same from Southampton, if I'm honest. I don't think Southampton, like I've said before, high line, expansive. I need to work on Declan. Mate, the effort you've gone to put that account out is absolutely class. Do you think we could make it to Europa semis? I think we got a long way to go, haven't we? We got a long way to go. Listen, I'm in it for the ride. I'm in it just to be in it, right? Everyone get this straight. Next season is Mark Noble's last season. West Ham are in Europa. And again, I know it's a bit of a song and whatever, but there is a chance here we can go and build something special. And I'd love to give Marky Noble a trophy, man. I mean, I couldn't think of anything better than winning a trophy for Mark Noble because it's absolute class. But you can only do that if you invest. You can only do that if you improve. So I don't think we could make Europa semis, but I think we'd be right. And to be fair, Anthony, I will say he did make a brilliant save as well. We can't go in and just to. Listen, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying just to turn up and make up the numbers. But I think as a first foray into it, I would like to see some ambition that we want to be there long term and build a squad. And even if we drop out next season of the Europa in whatever round, and then consequently not qualifying, I just want to see a squad. This is what people forget. Like, we need a real squad to compete in the Premier League regularly. All these clubs we've been talking about, Leeds United, Villa, Tottenham, all of them, I hate Tottenham, and I know they're struggling at the minute, will have money. Arsenal will go again. All these clubs will go again. That's why we shouldn't underestimate the achievement that we've had, even with the lack of money that's being spent and even with the topsy-turvy season without the fans, because it's going to be nigh on impossible to continue to do that. But I do genuinely believe with Moyes as the manager, with the right type of recruitment, and with the overall squad, we can still be in the top half and we can still go far in trophies and competitions. And that's all I can ask for. I cannot ask for any more. I can break the bones of it and talk about it all the time. But the truth is, all I want is a bit of effort, a bit of hard work and fighting for the badge. And we've got that this season, irrespective of where we finish up. But I do think we'll get to Europe. When it was Noble's birthday, you should see the love and respect. Yeah, that is the team I always remember. And on that note, I will end it there. Thank you so much for joining me. I know you lot have been in and out. I'm sure you'll watch it on the replay. If you did enjoy it, like the stream. It does help the algorithms and everything that I don't really understand at the minute. Subscribe to the West Ham Way if you're watching this and you're new to this type of match reaction. I'll be back this week with pre-match content. So it's a massively quick turnaround. I'll try and get you what to expect from Southampton out. I didn't do it for West Brom this week because it's pretty statutory. I'm going to get my team that I would like to see against Southampton, the final team of the season. Dan's not doing a preview. I might try and pull in a Dennis or a Charles, or we'll try and fill it out a little bit. Watch along on Sunday from, it's 3 o'clock kickoff, isn't it? Or is it 4 o'clock kickoff? So we'll do the watch along from about 3:45, go into the evening. We'll do the post match with Dan. I'll try and get all the boys on as well. And that'll be it. That'll be it. One whole season done. The West Ham way. Nuts, mate. Nearly 3K subscribers in 1 year. It's been a mental journey. It will keep going. It will continue. Made some great friends through this. And obviously the community that we're trying to build a little bit is going swimmingly. So on that note, have a good evening. I'm going to put my feet up and get something to eat. Take care, everybody. Come on, you Irons. Europa League is so close. Unbelievable. Who would have thought it? Definitely not me.